What is going on, everybody? Hitmonchan here, back again with another Pokemon trading card game tabletop deck tech. Today we're taking a look at Origin Form Palkia VSTAR in the Stellar Crown meta. Now, I think it's pretty obvious to us all that Subspace Swell combined with the brand new Area Zero Underdepths is going to be a force to be reckoned with. If you don't remember what Palkia VSTAR does, it does 60 damage plus 20 more for each benched Pokemon, yours and your opponent's, and Star Portal attaches up to 3 water energy from your discard pile to your water type Pokemon in any way you like. We're obviously combining this Palkia with the brand new Area Zero Underdepths, which lets you have up to 8 basic or 8 benched Pokemon in play if you have a Terra Pokemon in play. So I'm gonna go over this entire deck profile right now so you can be prepared for when Stellar Crown drops mid-September. But before I do want to say the Hitmonchan mats are now live. Go pick yours up today. Go to hitmonchanning.com. I've put a lot into these mats. I've really liked how they turned out, and I think that you will like them too. So go pick yours up while you can. I greatly appreciate your support, as always. And now we're just going to get right into the deck tech. Once again, check out my sponsors, Pokemon.gg, PTCGL store, code Hitmon everywhere. Check them out. You know what they do at this point. I'll put a little banner at the bottom of the screen, but I just want to get right into this deck. I am so excited for the brand new Palkia VSTAR. Now, obviously, we are going to be rocking with a 3-3 line of the Palkia here. Let's just go ahead and start setting these out so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to go and set them in a horizontal way. I think it's just a little easier to count. It looks a little bit less messy this way. We have a 3-3 Palkia line, and now the entire other card that makes Palkia its own archetype once again is the Hoot Hoot and Noctowl line. We have 3 of the Hoot Hoots and 3 Noctowls with the Jewel Hunt ability. It lets you search your deck for any 2 trainers when you evolve it from Hoot Hoot, and you need to have a Terra Pokemon in play. Luckily for us, we have some pretty cool Terra Pokemon. We have 3 Hoot Hoot, we have 3 Noctowl here, and now our first Terra Pokemon is going to be Wellspring Mask Ogerpon EX. The Torrential Pump attack isn't really going to be used that often because you have to shuffle 3 energy attached to this Pokemon into your deck, and then you can do 120 damage to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. But Sob, I think, is actually very nichely useful here because we can use Sob to do 20 and trap something, and then do a big follow-up attack with Palkia VSTAR. So we are rocking a whole 2 copies of Wellspring Mask Ogerpon, which also kind of just helps enable our Noctowl and enable our Area Zero Underdepths. That's kind of what those are in here for. Now, another card that I actually really like in this deck that not everyone is playing is the Gengar with Netherworld Gate. This Netherworld Gate ability lets you put Gengar from your discard pile right onto your bench, and then you have to put 3 damage counters on it. But I believe that this is really good because we know for a fact that it's going to be a massive stadium war when Stellar Crown releases. Everybody's going to be trying to bump Area Zero Underdepths, so Gengar being able to bring itself right back from the discard pile can be very useful, because then that way you don't have to waste resources using Night Stretchers, using Super Rods to bring your Pokemon back into play. We're also rocking with a 1-1 Bidoof Bibarel line in this list because we do want to have some added draw power in case, for example, our Wellspring Mask Ogerpon gets knocked out and we get Iono'd, for example. Then we can't use Noctowl to recover, so a 1-1 Bibarel is pretty crucial as well. And I'm also rocking with the 1 Radiant Greninja in this deck. Concealed Cards is too good, Moonlight Shuriken is too good, and we're going to nichely use Greninja to attack as well. I also opted to play a Manaphy in here. I mean, I'm not 100% sure what spread-ish decks are going to be around when Stellar Crown releases. I don't know if Regidrago is still going to be that much of a thing, but I am, Manaphy for safekeeping. He can go hang out over there. And my last Pokemon in this list is Pheasantipity EX. I love this card. It's really good, and I think it's just really solid in every single deck right now. Flip the Script just lets you draw a bunch of cards, and you can have a good time. And then if Area Zero gets bumped, you can just discard the Pheasantipity. No fuss about that. So there is our Pokemon counts. Now we're on to the supporters. The glue that holds it together is a 4-line of Irida. Irida lets you search for a water Pokemon and an item. The item can get you a way to get Noctowl, which can get you a way to get 2 more items, that sort of thing. Very, very strong, and it's on a stage 1s, like unlike Shady Dealings in Teleon, so you don't have to actually search your deck for like rare candy in Teleon to get 2 items. You can literally just get a Noctowl and get another water Pokemon to continue your setup. We're also rocking with the 2-2 line of Iono here, which will just enable us to, disrupt our opponent. You know Iono, you love her, and I'm sure you also know and love the boss's orders. We're going to be playing a copy, or 2 copies, I should say, in this list, just for some gust options. And I also want to mention my tech supporters of Turo and Roxanne. Roxanne will let you, if your opponent has 3 or fewer prize cards remaining, shuffle, or each player shuffles into their deck. You draw 6, they draw 2. Very, very strong card, but it's only situational. Thankfully, we got Noctowl to search it out when we need it, and we also have Professor Turo's Scenario to help us pick up an Origin Form Palkia VSTAR that was damaged, or it can actually pick up a Noctowl if it gets, so we can reuse it, or Bibarel if it gets stuck in the active. I think Turo is a pretty mainstay card in the format right now. I think it's really, really strong, so I do think it has a place in Palkia. Now, in terms of the ball search, I am rocking with 4 of our Nest Ball, just so we can get our basic Pokemon quickly and efficiently. And I'm also rocking with 3 Ultra Ball. Now, you could very much so argue for a 4th for consistency's sake, and I do think I would want a 4th, but I just opted to go for 3 for this build, because this build is a little bit more teched out, a little bit more techie cards are in here, and for varying situations, I think that, these tech cards are worth making that little consistency cut. We do have 3 Earthen Vessel in here as well. We want to be able to consistently use our Radiant Greninja and consistently be able to draw cards and get energy in the discard for Star Portal. So 3 Earthen Vessels right there, along with 2 Night Stretchers. This is our Pokemon / energy recovery. I think Night Stretcher is, again, very strong in this deck because it can act as a draw 2. You Night Stretcher for a water energy, and then you concealed cards. Or if you have a water energy in hand, you can Night Stretcher your Greninja back into play and use its ability that way. So I am a fan of the Night Stretchers in this list. I'll throw them right over there. And now on to some of my one-ofs. I do have 1 Palpad in here, so we can reuse Turo, so we can reuse Boss, we can reuse Roxanne, that sort of thing. Palpad's a generally very good card in decks that you can automatically search it out, like this one. And our A-Spec of choice is going to be that Prime Catcher. Prime Catcher, just too good, because we also have, surprise, surprise, Canceling Cologne in here. Now, this is a little bit risky because you don't have Melanie anymore, which was a big part of Palkia being good, is that you could accelerate to it in 1 turn and then use Star Portal to attack with Greninja and stuff like that. So you might not want to attack with Greninja. This is a package, mainly the Canceling Cologne, that can potentially be cut, but I'll talk a little bit about that later on when I get to another card. But I do want to mention I have 1 Buddy Buddy Poffin in here. This is more if you're going second, you can Buddy Buddy Poffin, get out a double Hoot Hoot, or get out Bidoof and Hoot Hoot, or something like that. Just a little added consistency card. If you were playing back then, you will remember in the early onset of Palkia, people did play only 1 Battle VIP pass, so I'm kind of trying out a similar thing here to save on space. And we also do play that 1 Super Rod in case we need to get more energy in Pokemon back. Now, the secret card I was talking about just now is the EXP Share. That's the reason I've actually opted to keep the Cross Switcher Cologne. I always say that Prime Catcher Cologne package in here because you can throw an EXP Share on your Palkia, and then that means that the energy from Greninja will travel to that Palkia, and you can attach and start hitting and swinging immediately. The only thing is, beyond that turn, you might run into some problems. I only play 1 EXP Share. If you do want to go for a Prime Catcher Cologne angle, you might want to play 2 EXP Shares so you can consistently get these energies coming back and forth between your Pokemon. And now in terms of our good pals, the stadiums, 4 areas you underdepths, way too necessary for us to ignore with this deck. We're just gonna throw those guys. We'll get hit by the glare here a little bit. We'll throw them, oh, I'm messing up the deck here. We'll throw these guys right over here. That should be a little bit better. And last and finally, last but not least, is our energy counts. Take a guess at how many you think I run. Spoiler alert, it is 7. 7 whole water energy in this deck. I think that you might want to go a little bit heavier on the waters, but I've opted to go heavier on the vessels so we can find them a little bit easier. And that is pretty much the list. Now, I do want to talk about something here, and that something is I want to mention kind of the counts, and I want to mention another version of this list, which is Azul's version that I saw, and which I think is really good as well. And it depends. So I want to make you aware of this other version as well. This, instead of playing the Ogre Pawns as your water type Terra Pokemon, it actually plays the Terapagos and the Glass Trumpet, so you can Glass Trumpet to 2 Terapagos and then use Chien-Pao EX's attack to deal monstrous damage. The only thing is that with full benches, Origin Form Palkia is doing monstrous damage, and I feel like a lot of decks from the get-go of the Stellar Crown release are going to be wanting to take advantage of the Area Zero, so I'm not going to be super worried about not being able to fill a bench and take KOs with Palkia. Palkia might even move into a 2 KO style deck once these cards come out, so I can actually really foresee this being like a fine way to play these cards. But yeah, the other version Azul was playing doesn't have the Gengar, it doesn't have the Bidoof Bibarel line, it doesn't have, I don't even think, a Fez. I think it's missing some things, which I personally like. I loved playing Palkia before online. I never actually got the physical cards, and now that I have the physical cards, the deck is not good, but I'm hoping that it becomes good down the line. But once again, with all that said and done, thank you so much for watching. Really quick, before I go, don't click away yet. There's one more change that I wanted to talk about. If you opt to get rid of the Canceling Cologne package, I do think Prime Catcher is still your ace spec of choice, but I would also like to potentially see more Buddy Buddy Poffins in this list, maybe 2 or even 3, because the Hoot Hoot is such a vital part of your game plan. We also should see a Heavy Ball make its way into this list, but my list right now, it's so tight, I kind of don't know what to cut. I want it to be ultra consistent with the 3-3 Hoot Hoot Noctowl line and the 1-1 Bibarel line, but I tried not to cut out too many techie cards, and I think some areas of this list might be a little more inconsistent than I would like to admit. But in my testing, it's been very, very strong. You've been really doing huge turn 2 damage. The only thing is you don't have Melanie. You don't have anything like Raihan to accelerate energies back after your Palkias get knocked out. One other idea, very, very crucial, I wanted to mention is I think that Crispin could be decent in this deck, and you could play it with something like a Psychic Energy. Now, you're probably thinking, why would I do that? That seems a little bit dumb. Well, Crispin can accelerate an energy while also putting an energy of a different type into your hand. And by playing Psychic Energies, you can use those to power up a Gengar in a single turn if you ever need to attack with it. And you can attach for turn on the Palkia to give yourself a little bit of an edge. Additionally, if your opponent opts to not KO Radiant Greninja because they're like, oh, you have no more energy on the board, you can Crispin and you can attach the water, find the Psychic, attach the Psychic for turn, and Moonlight Shuriken again, which can be a very, very strong strategy. And I am personally a pretty big fan of that idea. Crispin is a really invaluable supporter card, so I think that it could make its way into a lot of lists. Palkia having to attack for 2 water is a little bit unfortunate, but we can still use it. You grab the Psychic in your hand, grab the water to auto attach, and then you can attach another water for turn. So I think the Crispin could be a little bit of that Melanie substitute, but that's all for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of the list. Would you like, would you dislike, would you keep, would you change about it? Subscribe to the Hitmonchan channel because I'm posting multiple Pokemon trading card game videos every single week. And once again, with all that said and done, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, Hitmonchanning out.